Welcome everyone. It is time for another episode of Old Roommates. This week on the show, we are revisiting Season 3, or some episodes from Season 3 of Melrose Place. So grab your detonator, because this is going to be an explosive episode.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. Christina, that was inspired.
Oh, I'm so glad you liked it.
What a moment.
I was thinking about it,
Yes.
you know?
We are revisiting... Oh, sorry. This is Brian.
And this is Christina.
And we are revisiting Melrose Place, the return of Kimberly, specifically, towards the end of Season 3. So we revisited, just for everyone following along at home, episodes 28 through the end of Season 3. And for our lucky Patreon subscribers, we are going to be revisiting episode 1 of Season 4, which is the actual explosion.
Yes.
So...
Spoiler alert.
Oh. So as we begin, as we always do,
yes.
Christina, I'm dying to hear your thoughts on Melrose Place way back when.
It's so funny. I really enjoyed Melrose Place back then. I really did. But it's one of those shows I never gave a second thought to after I watched it. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes shows stay with you. This one really never did for some reason, but I really enjoyed it because I was a 90210 fan. I might have been a smidge too old for 90210, but I watched it. And then when obviously Melrose Place is a spin-off of that show, and I felt like I related a little bit better to Melrose Place than I did 90210. I think that was the whole idea of it to begin with,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
And I forget, did they run in conjunction with each other? If they did,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
In conjunction with? Is that right?
I don't know.
I don't even know if that's... It sounded right in my head. Anyways, I loved it. I really did. I loved it. There were certain characters I didn't love. I remember loving Jake back then.
Big surprise.
I know. Well, geez, what's not to love, right? I remember I did not love Michael. I thought Michael was kind of boring.
Oh.
And same with Josie Bissett.
Jane.
Jane.
Yeah.
Jane was the same way. Like, I felt like I didn't like her at all.
You thought... Wait.
Back then, I thought Michael was boring.
The villain. Like, often the villain of most of these storylines.
Yes, but, like, I feel like I didn't feel like he was villain enough.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he was just sort of, he was kind of like the bad guy, the cheater and all that.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I just didn't find him that interesting.
Okay, good.
And I loved my favorite character. Do you want to guess who my favorite character was?
Joe.
No, I did love Joe. I did love Joe, yes.
Well then, Allison Parker?
Ew.
What?
No, do I look like an Allison Parker?
Oh, Sydney, of course.
Sydney. I loved Sydney. In fact, when I started watching this now, I was kind of remembering a little bit.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, Sydney came on. I was like, oh my gosh, Sydney!
Yeah.
I thought she was awesome.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. And I don't think I watched how many seasons did they have? Do you know?
7 seasons.
Yeah, I definitely didn't watch 7 seasons of it. I think I stopped probably at 4.
Let's see, 7 seasons and 226 episodes.
Wow, it's a lot of episodes.
In season, so let's see, it started, oh God, I guess it would have helped to put my notes. It began in the summer of 92, and it ended in May of 99.
Wow.
And that was something that Aaron Spelling did, I think, I could be wrong about that, but remember when 90210, they had this, like, they started their season super early in the summer?
Yes.
And so, because it was so popular, and they're like, well, high school kids are free all summer long, and this is for high school kids. And so what they did is, once that took off, they decided to launch Melrose Place in the summer of 92, even though that it was tailored more towards a 20-something audience. But yeah, I believe back in the day it was like Fox Wednesday. Like, and it was like 90210 followed by Melrose Place, and it was a big thing. And they spun it off because Kelly Taylor from 90210 was involved with Jake.
That's right.
Yes.
Which I had forgotten about.
I can't say it at all. But
So let's toss the mic over to you, Brian.
Oh, thank you.
What was your...
So, really funny, because you said, I think the differentiator here is, I loved it as well.
Yes.
The differentiator here is, you said you didn't think about it after an episode was over.
Right.
Oh my God. I would, if there was like they used to do this on Fox a bit.
And let me correct you.
Oh.
So, I just never have thought about the series since then.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean like after every episode.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
think about it. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I feel
So
like that was unclear.
I think I agree with maybe that element of things. I think like, because it's a soap, very pop culture, very like, you know, I mean, what I loved about Melrose Place always then was, like, you know, in those times in life where you're like, oh, I wish I just said what I was thinking in that moment. I wish I just said that. And with Melrose Place, the characters all do that. Yeah. And it was so refreshing, so bitchy, so good. And I think if I can jump quickly, I think it's like, the Real Housewives would never exist if Melrose Place didn't exist. I mean, I know it's a total riff on Desperate Housewives, but I think Melrose Place had that such success that I think it made people think that obviously there's a market for like people being really mean to each other, or just not taking the shit that's thrown upon them. You said you didn't like Jane. Jane was probably my favorite character.
Yeah, I thought she was super boring back then. Well,
the thing is, Christina, and just for anyone listening, Christina and I have been friends for a very long time. And when we were roommates, we watched Queer as Folk. And there was a character, Lindsay, on Queer as Folk. And I feel like, Christina, when we get into these soapy things, you don't like sort of the voice of reason. You don't really like the mother, like you don't like the Earth Mother figure. And I think every show has to have one, or else there's no holds barred.
It makes sense that they would be there, but as far as Lindsay to me was just annoying. I just could not stand her. In fact, you remember you got a signed autographed picture? You sent a letter or something to her saying that I was her biggest fan.
No, I was
did
honest.
You say I was sick?
No.
I think you did.
It was your 40th?
It's one of my birthdays, yeah.
One of the bigger birthdays, and maybe 35th. And I wrote to all these actors on Queer as Folk. Almost, really, a lot of them did write back, and or send an autograph photo.
And Days of Our Lives.
Days of Our Lives as well. And I wrote to Lindsay, Thea Gill is the actress's name, and I said, my friend Christina thinks your character's the worst.
Oh, okay.
I said, and we constantly have these arguments because I really love your character, but it would be really great if you could harass Christina in this. And she did.
She did.
She wrote all over her own picture.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, you sound like my kind of woman. Like, remember? Oh, it was so good. But
I'm sure I still have it around somewhere. If I could find it, I'll post it on Patreon.
Oh, good. Yeah. But going back to Melrose Place, I loved it. In fact, like, Fox did this thing a couple times where they would just like follow them around for the day, the stars of Melrose Place. And I will never forget, as long as I live, Daphne Zuniga goes grocery shopping. I swear this is all true. I don't even know if I can find it. But
that would be so cool.
Like it was yesterday, and she encounters this child who has Down syndrome. Mm-hmm. And I believe that is what the child had. And what happened is the child was like almost in tears, and she said, "You're so pretty, to Daphne Zuniga." And Daphne Zuniga started crying.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh my God. Then I started crying. And this is like back in the 90s. But it was one of those weird, but it was like, I was obsessed with any peek into the actors' lives. Uh-huh. Like Andrew Shue, I remember he had this charity called Do Something. And I remember like so much about these actors. And then Entertainment Weekly did this big magazine devoted to Melrose Place, and I got that and read everything. I knew Kristen Davis was a yoga instructor. Like, it was just like, I was obsessed. obsessed. And in fact, like, I remember I would have, like, then it went to Monday nights, and I had people over, and every once in a while I'd have people over for, like, these watch parties, because we knew something big was going to happen. But if you can't tell, I was obsessed with Melrose Place. I think I gave
how'd you feel?
I think I gave up, like, probably season 5, season 6. A lot of the cast members the original cast members left. I wasn't thrilled with some of the replacements, although I did like when Lisa Rinna and Estes, what's his name? It was Josie Bassett's real husband joined the cast. But I thought that I liked that spin because
Rob Estes?
Yes, it was from Silk Stockings, and then there was that whole subplot with Lisa Rinna's character getting pregnant with Jack Wagner's baby.
I don't think I saw that. I don't think I saw it.
He was gonna kill her. He was gonna push her off a building.
Oh my god!
And he had his arms around her shoulder. It was like, and she had no clue what was going on. And she's like, "I'm pregnant." And I'll never forget, her line reading was so bizarre. With your child. And then he stopped, like he was gonna put, but she didn't even know he was gonna push her off the building.
Oh my
but
gosh.
It was so good, but I think I did give up on it. I think the last couple seasons.
Yeah, and when did what's her face Allison leave? She left.
She left with Jake.
Alec McBeal, right?
So Ally McBeal was 97. So I think you're right. I think it was maybe a little bit of time had gone by, but yeah, she went to Ally. But she
left with Jake.
They ended up together.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and that was a whole thing where because she was pregnant. And I'll never forget. Oh my God, it doesn't matter. Let's focus on the return.
But what happened?
I'm trying to remember because. Yeah. But I remember Joe left the same season, and get this, Joe, played by Daphne Zuniga, she left. She was a photographer.
Yeah.
So she got pregnant from this bad character, not Jake's brother. It was some other guy. I'm trying to remember who it was. But she got pregnant. And she's like, I can't let... Do you remember this one? She goes, I can't let the family know.
Season 2 or season 3 or something. This was before.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Kimberly did the baby thing before?
That was before. Yep. Because she was going to... The family
was gonna sue her.
Was going to get. Oh no, they did.
Yeah,
so, because it was when Allison. All right.
Because
this was Allison was drunk and she didn't show up to the hearing, so she lost the hearing. She lost the child. The child, and then that's when Kimberly was like, "Well, you got to pretend that the baby died."
Right, and then she's like, "Joe, I'm sorry, sweetie. Post. What is it called? Postpartum." Yeah. Well, it's really tough, but your baby died.
But that was like season 3. That was like season 3.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm so sorry, everyone.
Would you like to compose yourself? Take a break? I'm just kidding.
But anyway, but Joe left to go to Bosnia.
Oh, God.
Yeah, to film, like, wartime stuff. Anyway, okay, let's dive into now.
Yeah, so now, here we go. So,
I always feel like our TV episodes are the longest podcast episodes we have. But
they're so long. But that's okay.
Okay.
Because we're so passionate.
Christina, when did you revisit this 5-episode arc?
I revisited... it was over a period of time. So it was over the period of like the last couple of weeks. Here and there. And I think the season 4 that I watched for Patreon was, I think, a couple of days ago. So it's somewhat fresh in my mind. Oh, nice. They do roll together, though, don't they? These episodes. Like, I don't even know if I can distinguish like what happened.
No, I know.
Number 28 to number 20.
Yeah, I did do markers, but like I did, write episode 28, episode 29. But yeah, I agree. They really flow.
They flow. Yeah. Well, it's a soap opera, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, and I will say, I was so excited when I started watching it, and the music, like it was just like, oh my God, I forgot about this music.
Yeah,
like it was like you kind of bounce to it,
Yeah.
It's just
I thought it was the coolest effing thing. This was for anyone too young to remember. This was the coolest show on television.
This was so cool.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, after the first, the introductions of the cast, which reminded me a lot of Love Boat, how they like just have this so. Like a starring moment. It's Aaron Spelling again.
Yeah, and then 90210 was the same thing. They turn and face the camera and smile. Yeah,
they're super. Yeah, stars. And But then, like, when the first scene happens,
Yeah.
it's some so cool hit song. Like,
Right.
it's not like just some background music. It's actually
Like
some, like...
Letters to Cleo. Yeah.
It's
It's
like
like,
always a fun song. So, anyway, so it was really funny how I forgot about a lot of these characters. Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, Matt. Oops.
Christina.
I know.
Oh my God.
At first.
Yeah.
And what was really funny is, like, the first moment when I'm seeing, like, Michael, I'm like, ugh. Like, I was thinking, ugh. I remember having that gut when I first saw this picture.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, ugh. Like, just bored. Bored. And then of course, Jake, I'm like, ooh, hot. So anyway, so that was my first initial thought. Do you want to tell us your first initial thoughts?
My first initial note here is, wait, Dan Cortez is Jake's older brother. They're 5. So I looked it up because I was, of course, obsessed. And Dan Cortez is 5 years younger than Grant, which it looks. He looks younger. I mean, no offense to Grant Show, he's hot, but like Dan Cortez, he looks and he acts like a younger brother.
And just his whole style is younger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the
The long hair, the
like
surfer, slacker. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like Jake is like, I'm a man. And
he's
I need
like
to
the
be,
responsible one.
The
Yeah,
one,
it doesn't
yeah.
make sense that he was the younger
Nope,
one.
didn't understand that at all. Because
Yeah.
it would have been fine. Like, it actually would have been, I think, more compelling to have your younger... Well, it would have been like Sydney.
Yes.
This younger, punker, like, troublemaker, younger... Maybe that's why they made him older, because it would be too similar to Sydney.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But it would make more sense.
But we're going to jump all around, right?
Absolutely.
Because we talked about this before, like pop culture PTSD. When he beats up Joe,
that was really violent.
the smashing, her screaming from behind the bathroom door.
That was honestly weird. Weirdly enough, that was really good acting.
Yeah.
On Joe's part.
Yeah.
And it was behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Like, all you could hear were the screams. And I'm like, oh, this is horrible. Horrible. Yeah. It was terrible.
What happened? He hit her. And then she throws a vase or something at him.
She fights
which
back.
smashes right near his face.
Yeah.
I mean, that's real.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's, obviously a harmless vase.
Yes.
But it was very close to his face. And then they run into the bathroom, they slam the door, and you just hear him beating the shit out of her. It is so terrifying.
Yes.
Horrific. Yeah. Awful.
Yeah, so much so that I almost felt like when he left and the door was open and you see her laying there, it wasn't as effective when I saw her. Like, I wish that he had just left and you didn't see her.
Ooh.
I think that would have been more effective. Because then it's like, oh, well, there she is.
Oh.
Right?
My
You know what I
God.
mean? Though, like, you expect her to see, like, be like a bloody mess and like I don't know. It just seemed not as effective to me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I respectfully disagree, but I think that would be an interesting cut of that. Like, if you just didn't see her there anymore, like,
She's
is she
like
in the
behind the door or
bathtub?
something.
Like
she
she's
could
all
be anywhere.
crumpled up somewhere. Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my
But I will
gosh.
say, going to the first, so episode 28, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, does start out pretty funny because Dan Cortez, what is his name? Jess. Jess is telling Jake, Jess, and Joe.
Oh my gosh.
My God. Jess is telling Jake, like, this really, like, bitchy dialogue, like, hey, little brother, I'm the best she's ever had. She told me so this morning. And at one point, Jake goes, you son of a bitch. And then he, like, pauses for, like, 3 seconds, and then he punches, which Jess is a little slow on the draw there. Like, he just stands there, and Jake punches him in the face. Like, yeah, it was a little telegraphed is my word there. Some of the fighting is telegraphed, and it's almost as if they're playing for a studio audience sometimes.
Totally.
Do you get that?
Yes, absolutely. Or on stage even.
Yeah, it's like the style is not super contemporary.
Yeah.
Like, it feels very much
is this
Melrose
like
Place.
the Beat It video, or is it Melrose Place? We don't know. So I have some notes from episode 27, I think.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not
okay.
even sure. Because I know we were talking about watching 27 as like a
whether we
setup.
discuss it or not, but just because so much happens in
it was called
that.
A Hose by Any Other Name.
Yeah.
So the titles of these episodes were just hilarious. So was that 27? This is when This is when Kimberly was at the camp thing.
Oh my God, with Mackenzie Phillips.
Mackenzie Phillips.
Yeah.
I wrote that. I'm like, oh my gosh, Mackenzie Phillips.
Who had, what, 2 words of dialogue?
Probably.
Yeah.
I wonder if she had more in the previous episodes.
And that's what I'm thinking, too.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. But yeah, I have that. One of the first things I say is that
no more victims. It's called, right?
Yes.
The group is called No More Victims.
Yes, and that was terrifying. Her just attacking this guy and breaking his arm.
Yep.
Oh, unbelievable. One of the first things I write here is Andrew Shue. Is he sleepwalking through this series?
Here's my note about Andrew Shue. Will Billy ever get a backbone? And what's really funny, Christine, is that several episodes later, what does Brooke's father say to Billy on his
does he
wedding
say
day?
something
He goes, oh, wow.
He has a backbone.
You have a backbone. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, that's my note throughout.
That's hilarious.
You mentioned Jane. Oh my God, Jane's a firecracker compared to Billy.
Yes, and I will say my opinion of these characters have changed quite a bit since way back when.
Yeah.
But
Billy is, I agree.
I don't understand why he's even on the show. He is such a nothing.
Or why these women are truly sabotaging each other for his affections.
I have that note in here. I don't know what page, but I have this note in here saying, why does she want him? What does Billy bring to the table?
And also, if he is that easily led by Brooke, oh my God, I mean, Brooke's another one.
What does anybody... Oh my God.
Oh my God. But him, he's the prize.
He's nothing. I don't understand why anybody is interested in this guy. He is not that attractive, first of all. He has no personality. He's not even there's no sex appeal. He's just
he's like hair and lips.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And he has a job, but it's
I do think he's cute.
I don't think he's cute at all.
But,
I really don't.
But
sorry,
to me it was
Andrew. I'm sure you're attractive in real life. Just his personality. So the thing is with this, personality overshadows looks to me a lot. And this, he was just.
Oh no, he's not
an
interesting personality. No.
No, but one person I loved, Michael.
Oh my God.
Michael, to me, I was like, what? Where was he way back in 92? I don't know why I did not find him interesting or anything. He to me was like the Billy back then. Didn't do anything for me at all. I loved every single second he was on screen this time around.
Wow.
And to me, I didn't feel like he was the villain so much. I really didn't feel like he was villainish.
Okay.
But I felt like he was so damn funny.
I have a note in there that I didn't research the writers of Melrose Place. There has to be some comedy writers in here. There are genuinely...
Oh my gosh.
There are not accidentally funny or unintentionally funny. There's some really funny dialogue. There's some funny dialogue in this. Yeah,
oh my gosh. And most of the stuff that I wrote down, I don't know where it is. What does he say? Okay. Oh, well, on this one, I don't even know the context. So Michael says to Sydney's blackmailing him to sleep with him.
Yeah.
Somehow. Which I kind of get now. He was kind of hot, actually. I never thought he was hot before, but
but the deeper part of that was that she hated her sister Jane.
Yes.
So it was just her sleeping with Michael was a bigger fuck you to Jane than just wanting sex.
I don't even feel like Jane cared at this point.
No, she didn't.
No,
yeah.
she didn't even care at all. But he says, "All right, let's get it over with." Oh my God.
I loved Michael and Kimberly work at the same hospital. Kimberly is back from the dead.
Yes.
Her mom had scurried her away to get well. There's a scene, which we didn't watch that episode, but where she takes the wig off and there's a giant scar on her head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Melrose Place suffered, I think, with some mental health sensitivity for sure in this.
Sure.
But what was great is, did you see the name of their medical director?
Yes.
Calvin.
Yes, Calvin Hobbs.
And
I
they
wrote
showed
that down.
his nameplate.
Oh my God, Calvin Hobbs, chief of staff.
Yeah. Calvin Hobbs, they show his nameplate like 8 times. I'm like, come on, people.
Yeah.
Did you try on these fake names?
Yeah.
But he has a great line. So Michael shows the suicide note to him. He's like, Kimberly's a nut. She's a nut. And he's like, I don't think you're doing this because you were concerned. Listen, whatever troubles you guys have, keep it off the floor. We need you both. Just get out there, whatever. And he goes, I just thank God you didn't have children. Like, no one would say that in a professional workplace.
Oh my God, so
your
funny.
boss would never say that.
Oh my God, I love that.
I did write the scene where Brooke is encouraged.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go.
Oh, wait, that episode, the first one, episode 27, that was when, Amanda had cancer, right? Or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, I think it was. And so Allison stepped in to be the bitchy boss. And then Amanda wanted her job back naturally.
Yes.
So she sabotaged Allison Parker.
Yes.
So then Amanda, being very wise, says, listen, just blame me. Just blame me. I'll take the hit. Yeah. Knowing that when Allison Parker says, this is the responsibility of Amanda Woodward, and Amanda, and then the head of the whole thing, the client, is like, blaming a subordinate? That is so unprofessional. And they fire her immediately.
Although she had a few things going on.
Oh yeah, she was not great.
They were setting her up to fail, and she.
Oh yeah, Amanda and Brooke were like, working behind her back to make her life miserable, but also, and she was like, I'm working 16-hour days, which you're not. If you're that much power, you're not picking up the phone calling like fucking printing shops. You have about 11 people doing it. Yeah, right.
Yes. Yep. So I have down here, Billy has a secret for 2 seconds. Allison says to Billy, oh yeah, I'm like, basically she says that the board is looking at her.
She's on probation. She's on probation. Yeah. One more mix-up and she's gone.
And she's like, yeah, just between the two of us.
Yeah.
Literally 2 seconds later, he's on the phone with Brooke, telling her.
Yeah.
I'm like, what a terrible friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other note I have, which is so funny, is nobody everybody is so disrespectful to Sydney, which is probably warranted. He caused a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
But what cracked me up is everybody in that episode at one point and at one time or another says to Sydney, "You have a business meeting?" Like she set up this business meeting, and they're all like, "You have a business meeting?" It's like made me so fun, so happy. There's just so much. There's so much. One other thing, you talk about the writers. You're so right. Allison to Amanda. You called and canceled the order. Amanda to Allison. Are you drinking again? So funny.
I love when
so funny.
When Josie Bissett is like ripping into Sydney, and she really does, and Sydney goes, "Take a chill pill, Jane."
Yes. Oh my God, I just love it. Like the whole interactions between that made the whole thing.
Yeah,
it made the whole thing.
It is that thing of like, ooh, you just, it's good. It's really good bitchy writing.
Yeah, even Matt, my least favorite character.
Oh.
So his doctor, this whole Paul, who he's a married man and he's wants to get with Matt and trying to come out and all. Yeah. And Matt is kind of on. He's like, I don't want this. You have to come out. You're married. I'm not going to be involved with the married man. Blah 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 blah. And the doctor says something like, I need your help I need you to help me. I've never done this before. I don't know how to do it. And Matt says to him, buy a book and figure it out. I'm like, it was like probably the one and only time I liked Matt during this whole revisit.
Well, how about, can I jump first?
Yes,
because one of the best moments. So, big surprise, Paul's wife. So, there's a much darker storyline there.
Yes, and what's funny, I forgot.
Oh, I didn't forget.
I forgot about it.
Yeah.
And the whole time, I'm like, I just couldn't understand. I'm like, what is going on? Like, why is he so interested? Like, you could tell something was going on, but I was right there. I completely forgot about that storyline. I didn't love Matt during my original viewing either, I suppose.
I will say this before I get to the bigger line. Paul says to Matt, there's something else I have to tell you. This is after he finds out he's married, right?
Okay.
Matt, there's something else I have to tell you. Matt goes, terrific.
He does have some funny eye rolls. Like,
yes.
Oh, really?
So then the wife finds out, which is very much part of the whole plot here, folks.
Yes.
And she walks in. She looks amazing
She's
in
beautiful,
this scene.
yeah.
She's beautiful. She walks in this white suit, very sophisticated. The hair is coiffed. She has style. She walks into Matt's office and he's like, "Hi, can I help you?" I have to just read it.
Do it.
How dare you? You disgusting piece of trash. Oh my God.
Imagine doing that in real life. Imagine. Oh my. If you suspected Carl of cheating, would you walk in and?
But it's not even that. It would be me going up.
Trash.
It's not even talking to Carl. It'd be going to his
lover or whatever.
His lover. Yeah. I came home and found my husband in tears. And he's like, Mrs. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. She's like, you seduced him. She's like, if you come near my husband again, I'll kill you.
Oh
my God.
Where was that defense?
It was so good. Yeah.
What was that defense? She threatened him.
Yeah, really. She threatened to kill him. He never threatened to kill her.
Yeah.
Him? Wait. Yeah, no. She threatened to kill him. He never threatened to kill her. But she ended up dead.
What would have been interesting?
Yeah.
Again, I'm rewriting. If Matt at that point had filed some sort of report
restraining order
with the police department, and then it would have been a stronger case against him.
Yes.
Because he would have thought, well, you thought she was going to kill you, so you killed her first.
Oh, no, see, I disagree. I think it would have been like, clearly there was an altercation, and you killed her because she was going to, well, I don't know. I don't know, Christina.
I don't know.
I don't know about that one.
They could have worked on it.
I'm usually right with you on your rewrites. Okay. I did notice a pattern with every single scene in Melrose Place.
Okay, let's hear it. I love it.
Oh, God. Every single scene, and I don't mean before a commercial, I mean every single scene, it is a long close-up of the character's face.
Oh.
A single character. I don't think a single scene ends with more than two people in the same shot.
Interesting.
I really don't. It's always like, there might be two people in the scene, but the end of every single scene in Melrose Place ends with a close-up of the main characters in that scene's face.
Interesting.
I was like, because I binged it. I did not do what you did. I probably should have, but I watched
I binged a couple. I did like 2 at a time.
I think I watched all 6 episodes. I think I watched 6 episodes in
they were long
one
episodes.
night. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no commercials. How did you watch? You watched it on DVD, I'm guessing.
DVD, yeah.
I watched it on, the hell was it? Amazon Prime or something? I don't remember.
Did it have like the lead-in for the commercials? Like the end.
Oh, so that's season 4.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about. Yeah, I hated that stuff.
I hated it too, but it cracked me up when I first saw it. So framing of the shrew, Jay gets Jess hires someone to basically kill Jake. He wanted him to kill him. Jess, he says to somebody, I don't know who he was talking to, but Jake in the hospital says, Jess did this to me. He has to pay. But it was interesting that he was not concerned at all about him being with Joe. Like, he didn't even mention, like, Joe needs to be away from him or anything.
Yeah.
I know, I don't think she would have left because of that, but at least him saying that would have worked.
Well, just some context. Like, what if he said to Joe, listen, Joe, I know Jess, when he's in a relationship, things get real dark.
Yeah.
He gets possessive. Like, some kind of heads up. You can't just be like, don't date my brother.
Because I'm jealous.
Yeah. That's not a good argument.
No, it's not.
I have some, do you remember this little bit of trivia? So, Perry King from Riptide plays Brooke's father.
Yes.
Do you remember this? Because this came out in like, I don't remember, probably Entertainment Weekly or interviews with the cast. They had to cut a lot of Brooke and, what was his name?
Father? I don't know that they ever...
What the hell's his name? Damn it. I have it down here
forget.
somewhere.
I
Anyway,
don't know.
but Perry. We'll say Perry.
Sure.
It's something weird. Haley? Haley?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
So anyway, so there's Brooke, played by Kristen Davis, and Haley, played by Perry King. And I remember so well this story of a lot of these scenes had to be cut short or edited differently because the audience was like, are they having an incestuous relationship? Because they had too much chemistry.
Wow, isn't that
They
so
had too much chemistry. They were like, the audiences were writing to the show saying like, this is uncomfortable, don't make this a thing.
That is
but it was never a
really
thing.
funny.
But the actors had too much chemistry together.
Wow.
Yeah. So they
I
had to,
could see it now that you don't.
yeah,
now that
because
you
they
say
really
that.
have to edit it because she'd always go, oh, daddy.
Oh, I love you, Daddy.
I love you,
and give
daddy.
a big old
Oh, yeah.
hugs.
Oh, and just her eyes. Kristen Davis has some serious eye work
Yes,
in this
she does.
show.
She sure does. Who said this? I'll understand if you want to sever all ties. And and I just wrote kind of drastic, don't you think? But I don't know what it was in context to. It was, I don't know. Oh, it was probably Joe and Jess. I don't know. Somebody was being very dramatic.
But Dan Cortez gets beat up twice in that episode we were talking about before, that Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. He gets beat up by Jake. Then he gets beat up by the guy in the pool hall. I was like, he really gets like quite beat up.
Oh my God.
Allison comes home from work and makes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and nothing felt truer in my life.
Pretty good, yeah.
I never noticed that before. She has a gigantic jar of peanut butter. I'm
Yeah.
like, I get that. She works long hours. That's what I used to do.
That's, of course. Yeah, last thing you want to do is cook. Right? I love Michael's attitude. I just love Michael's attitude with everybody, really. But with Amanda, and they refer back to this after, but he's like, count your friends. Done already?
Yep.
And they refer back to that.
I remember that
court
line.
Case. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. It was really good. I just wrote Matt is really stupid. Just Matt. I just wrote Matt is really stupid.
Okay, I mean, some would call him a LGBT television icon, but that's fine.
He was poorly written.
What would have made it better, Christina?
I don't know. I just thought he was stupid.
Really
well,
quick.
maybe not get involved with the married man. Maybe that would have been better.
But Paul said, it's over between us. We filed for separation.
Well, I you know what? I think that's stupid until you know that he really did file. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But
also, pickings were slim for Matt. I mean, Jesus Christ. The one guy he kissed besides this was like, remember Billy's visiting friend for the wedding?
You know what's interesting, though? They don't kiss. So, and this was glaring to me. I was wondering if you even noticed it.
Yeah.
Every scene that the two of them are in, they never, ever kiss. And I noticed to me, it was like, oh, like, they would have kissed. Like, today, they would have kissed hello. They would have done this or would have...
Even the episode where that's the whole thing. It was like this guy-on-guy kiss when Matt's friend, I forget the actor, was coming into town for the wedding, and Matt didn't know that his friend... No, I'm sorry, I'm lying. It's Billy. Billy didn't know his friend was gay. So, or had discovered himself by that point. And at one point, Billy looks out the window and he sees Matt and the friend kissing. And the whole lead up from Fox was like, they're going to kiss, get ready for the kiss. And it was the first time two men were going to kiss. And they fucking like blurred out and cut away to Billy looking out the window. And a nation mourned.
Yes.
At least the gay people did. And
and that was...
It was so disappointing.
The response was the Will and Grace episode, right?
That's right. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So... I will say this is a side note, but Amanda's office is absolutely the flimsiest set. Did you notice when Michael slammed the door, the whole wall shook? Did you notice that? Oh, it's actually worth rewatching.
That's really funny.
Remember so it's Amanda and Brooke, and Michael barges in, and he threatens everyone.
Yeah.
And then Brooke picks up the phone, she's like, hello, police? The acting. And then Michael goes to grab the phone, and Brooke's like, oh, ah! Did you remember this?
Yes.
And Amanda's like, let go of her. And then, and he goes like, you're going to pay for this. And he slams her, the whole wall shakes. And then another time, Kimberly walks in to talk to Amanda, and she closes the door, and the door pops back open.
Oh my God, I didn't
so
notice that
funny.
either.
Yeah,
That's so
really
funny. Oh, I love that. That's hilarious. How much fun do you think Kimberly had trashing that apartment at Michael's?
Oh God, yeah.
That looked so fun. Because she went crazy, smashing things. I loved that so much. And I wrote, poor Michael.
Oh gosh. Okay, a couple more. I'm sorry. I'm still in the last episode, but I'll.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
No,
But,
it's okay. We could buffer
was
on.
there any doubt? So remember, Amanda. The power goes out. Amanda is like, "Oh my god!" She runs to the door and she sees clearly Kimberly in a trench coat.
Clearly.
No way in hell was that Michael Mancini.
No.
Michael Mancini is like a foot shorter, stocky.
Yeah.
And really, also a trench coat and a hat.
Yeah. That's
Who would do that?
Who does that?
It's like a Disney cartoon.
It's who was that?
Or Bugs Bunny would do that.
No, you know who it was? It was Roger Rabbit, the villain.
Oh
of
yeah,
Roger Rabbit.
yeah. Yes, very good. Okay, really quick. This is some dialogue.
This is where I said Brooke and Billy, yuck. Why does she even want him?
No,
That's where I wrote.
I agree.
wrote that
He is
several
the
times.
weakest character.
Terrible.
So Jess says to Joe, great news. I got work. And it's all thanks to you. And then Joe, in some bad acting, goes, why? What did I do that's so great? I was like, gross barf.
Yeah.
And then I did laugh. I hate to say it. I laughed when Jake got shot. Only because
Nice.
Sydney runs behind the bar. There is a phone exactly 12 inches away from her. And she goes, someone call 911, which is the worst thing you could say to a room of people.
Right, you have to point at somebody. Everybody knows this.
That
Anyone
is
said any of a training of emergency situation, you point to somebody
Yeah.
and say, call
911 and get back to me once you've done it.
That's right.
Yeah. But she is literally sitting underneath a phone.
Yeah, that's right.
But all she's doing is holding Jake's hand. I mean, it's like just the weirdest thing.
Yeah, that is.
But by the way, in a later episode, Kimberly has a cell phone. So there is the technology.
There is, yeah, but I think just like the rich people have it or something, right?
The doctors.
Just all the doctors. Yeah, so, and let's talk about Jake for a minute. He used to be one of my favorite characters. I felt like he was one of my least favorite characters this time around. I mean, he's good to look at, but I felt like he had very little to work with, like no dialogue. Like, I don't know, I just felt like...
I have a note about Grant's show in this where multiple scenes, it's like mouth acting. I don't think the rest of his face moves much.
Yeah.
It's just he does a lot of like, he keeps his forehead and face very still other than his mouth. It's a lot of like, just called it mouth acting. It's weird.
I wonder if he's like posing, because he was supposed to be like the hot one. Like posing and talking at the same time. I mean, I just felt like, what are they doing? Like Jess had more airtime than he did. Right? Like, it just seemed...
Oh, yeah, totally, yeah. I think it was probably not a strong storyline for
great,
Jake, because he was the victim and all that.
Yeah.
Multiple times the victim.
Oh my God, he was in the hospital more than he was out. And just these few episodes.
Oh my God.
He just got out of the hospital
God.
and now he's in the hospital again.
Well, I don't want to jump to our Patreon episode, but there's some great Jake stuff in that.
Oh,
yeah,
yes, in season 4.
I actually really, no, I shouldn't say it. Okay. All right. Why did Brooke do that rewrite the letter? Wouldn't have been just fine destroying, it was destroying it not enough? Like, but then Allison would have said it made sense. Because Allison would have been like,
I thought the same
my
thing.
letter,
I'm like,
you never
why
come to me. I was like, what letter?
And typing it and... Yeah, I thought the same thing. But yeah, clearly she was smarter than us.
I did laugh. Brooke is smarter than us.
Yeah.
I did laugh because at one point does Billy say all of this? He says, man. Someone says, man, that's really cold. And he goes, it's a nice, neat, emotionless paragraph.
Yeah.
And then Brooke goes, she could have at least handwritten it. I laughed out loud. Like, there's just some dialogue that is so not necessary, but makes it bitchier.
But it makes it, it's like,
and they just add it
how
in.
Can we
it's
make
like, how
it
can we get bitchier? Like, we know Brooke. I mean, Brooke looks like a fucking villain in every scene.
Always
she
does.
looks so
she has that
devious.
those eyes. It's like you say, those eyes.
Like the devious eyebrows.
And the giggle is terrible.
Yeah. I don't think so, Allison. It's like, oh my gosh,
it was like a
she's
villain
crazy.
laugh. Literally a villain's
She's crazy.
laugh.
I wrote, Brooke is so awful. How does Billy not see through it?
But again, like, why does she want Billy? I still didn't understand
understand.
it. To this day, I do not understand why.
Christina, what? Look
Oh,
at that right
wait,
here.
wait. I know why.
Why?
Because of her inheritance. She needed to marry somebody.
Oh, read this.
For the $10,000.
Is Brooke?
Is Brooke really doing all of this for ... Billy? I know. But that makes sense. Okay, now
with the inheritance, I guess
putting
so.
it together now. Maybe she did find him because he was dumb.
But she also proposed to him. Isn't there a rule about that in this precious inheritance?
Did she?
She proposed.
No, it was a bet. It was like
Oh.
a bet. They were doing.
If I win, you have to propose. Yeah, we get married.
Ball. No,
yeah.
Skee ball. What was it?
It was air hockey. Yeah.
Which I thought was ridiculous. All right, if I win, then you have to marry me.
Yeah, that's such a great foundation.
That sounds great.
Did Kimberly scratch her own face? Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
It's so weird.
She's supposed to.
Oh my god.
I would rather, like, if I was Kimberly, because clearly she's on the edge anyway. Wouldn't you just, like, slam yourself against, like, the counter or something? Like, why would you do scratches on your face? Like, give yourself a black eye somehow.
That was my issue with the scratching. Michael, I can't imagine a doctor like Michael Mancini having long enough fingernails to scratch her face. Like, that's weird.
How does that even happen?
And also, wouldn't they have been like, let's check for skin under his fingernails to make sure he did this? He's denying the whole thing. And he was on top of her. When they got there.
Oh my god, it was so funny how she grabs him. I love that whole... Let me just tell you, Marsha Cross is so amazing. She really is. All of these scenes, she's so convincingly awful. Like, I loved... Even Kimberly is amazing. I'm going to go so far as to say Kimberly is amazing. She covers it all. She knows that they're going to do some sort of investigating, so she has to get him on top of her.
Yeah.
She has to have him, like, fighting her.
Yeah.
So she's, like, pulling him, and he's like, what are you doing? You're crazy. And he's, like, trying to get off of her. I really loved that whole thing. I thought that was great.
Yeah, Marsha Cross is awesome in all of this. There's also an episode we didn't watch where she has Matt beat up.
Oh, right.
And he's in the hospital. He's beat up so bad. Matt is in the hospital. Mm-hmm. And she walks in to check on him. And she's like, well, Matt, maybe next time you'll watch your step around me. And he goes, Kimberly, please, you had nothing to do with this. The police are calling it a hate crime. She's like, and they're right. I hate you. Oh, it's so good. Some dialogue here. Joe goes up to Jake at Shooters and says, Jake, please, like, talk to me. Come on, we have to get past this.
Right.
And then she makes a comment, like, she makes a joke, and he doesn't laugh. She's like, Jake, come on, that was a joke. And he goes, so is you coming here. My God. I love it.
Oh my God, I love it too. I
wrote, Billy is an interesting character. He somehow manages to survive without a backbone. And then I just kept writing backbone the whole time, and then Haley says it, and I'm like, thank you.
Oh God, that's great.
Okay, good. My next note is creepy mirror man.
Oh my God,
Kimberly.
Me too.
Yeah, I wrote, he is so creepy, like 70s horror movie creepy.
Yes, I said mirror image in parentheses devil.
Yeah.
Scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's something I forgot about.
I forgot about. How could we forget about it? It was so, like... I know. It was such a big part of this.
I remembered so as soon as that happened in the bathroom, I think.
Yeah.
That, I remembered it then happening in the rearview mirror when she tries to crash her car or whatever. Yeah. So that's when... It
came back to me after he showed up.
I saw it,
But I was like, oh my God, like, when he showed up, it made me jump a mile. Like, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I'm like, oh my God. And how awesome is she? She's like, I'm not crazy. I'm fine. Mm-hmm. I'm not crazy. I'm like, holy crap. That was great. Well, she's so good.
The last I won't go into Patreon, never mind. But she has some really good stuff in that episode. So my next notes, though, are about the Big Bang Theory, which is the special. This is the big episode that leads up to her pressing the button.
Yeah, so this is the season finale.
Correct. It's 2 parts.
Yep.
This is
a lot going on here.
Without commercials, it's exactly 90 minutes. So I just wrote my first note is this is all so good.
Yes.
I wrote the whole
episode.
cast. It is so good. The whole cast is so confidently charging through some insane scenes and wild dialogue. Everything's nuts in this episode, and the acting is really strong. I think, I know it's a soap, and I think soaps are often, really disregarded, in terms of, say, quality or acting and all that, but the dialogue and the acting, I really couldn't say that's not good. It was, for what they have to do, this was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was great, too. And all of their little storylines were great. Every one of them were pretty strong. And I liked all of the cliffhangers were great. You did wonder, what the hell is happening? Everyone's out of commission at the end of this episode.
That's right.
Every single person in the show is out of commission.
Yeah.
In one way or another.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
I did write, Kimberly is a surgeon, but she's doing routine checkups on Sydney. So some of the hospital stuff makes no sense at all. Why is Sydney and Michael involved in so many things? They have very, hospitals don't work that way.
Yes.
You're probably not getting checkups, from the, I was in the hospital for 4 days. I think I met with one surgeon, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's not it's not even they were friends. If I have a friend, it would be hard enough to be oh, can I see, Dr. Mancini? But is he or she available? But, yeah, for her to be, sitting on the examination table.
Let me do this routine checkup, Sydney.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Come on, we have walk-ins.
She's
now.
not a primary care physician. She's a surgeon. But the other thing
None of it made sense.
But now I retract that, because when I was in the hospital, the surgery team comes in, but they come in at 5 o'clock in the morning and wake you up.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not. It's just the hospital doesn't work that way.
Yes.
But I wrote Marsha Cross does evil really, really well.
So good. She does evil, and she does mentally challenged.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah. I wrote Jess is already giving me the chills. I remember he beats Joe up. This is not sitting well with me.
Yeah, no, and I hate that.
I was trying to remember when it happened.
Yeah, I was trying to remember when it happened too. And I was like, oh, it's going to... You get that pit in your stomach. You're like, oh, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
This is happening. Yeah. One thing I did write that was kind of funny. The cops come in to close Mancini Designs. And I wrote, oh, yeah, Jane's on Melrose Place.
You forgot she existed?
No, but it was she was so, not really...
She had her own, singular storyline.
She did her own little thing. She was off somewhere else.
Yeah.
All that was kind of funny.
Do you remember what happens to Jane, why she leaves the show? She basically, her shop, she has a shop at one point, right? Like an actual boutique. And she gets, I believe, doesn't Richard sexually assault her? And then I think, and then she gets held up at gunpoint or something like that. He assaults her in her store. And then she's finally okay. She goes back to her shop and she gets held at gunpoint. And I think the guy does something very sexually threatening to her. And then she's like, I'm moving back home with my parents. Yeah, that's how she's...
don't... It's when you're talking about it, vaguely remember it, but I don't know if I was watching it regularly then.
And I couldn't believe they did that with that character, because it's oh my god, she's been through so... It's almost
she's
the identical
very strong
thing.
Person.
Yeah, she is strong. So I did laugh at this one, and she says to Amanda, Jane says, introduce me to Richard Hart, Richard played by Patrick Muldoon, who... Now, this is a middle-aged lens.
Yeah.
When I was young, I thought Patrick Muldoon was the hottest guy to enter Melrose Place.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what I was. Not to be rude.
Well, this is
I don't
after
know what I
he
was
was on
thinking.
Days.
Right, it's after Days.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know what I was thinking. I don't know. I didn't find him remotely attractive through my middle-aged.
Yeah,
lens.
he definitely had more of a weird face, almost a cartoon character face to me. Everything was round and
his lips are
bubbles.
bulbous. Yes,
Like,
yes.
but everything, his cheekbones are like that, his nose, even his like forehead.
He's still attractive. I think what I mean is like, I think he's attractive for the 90s. I think that was meaning like, because I'm, 50 now. We've talked about this where we look at people and like, oh, he's so cute now. Yes. I think it's the opposite with him. Yes. I feel like he looked great for 1994.
You know what he was to me? When you think about he was like the step brother in Bizarro World of Rob Lowe.
Oh, I see that.
You know what I mean? Like he was like.
I would never say. I would be clear. I'm not saying he's ugly. I'm not saying Christina's saying that.
Well, no, I'm saying ugly version of Rob Lowe. I'm not saying he's ugly either, but I'm just saying Rob Lowe's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Patrick Muldoon is ugly. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying compared to Rob Lowe, he would not be considered good looking.
Then my next note. So Jane says, "Introduce me." Amanda the Locklear, so effing good.
Yeah.
She scoffs. Like, she literally goes, like that. And she goes, I don't think someone like Richard Hart would be interested in the pencil. I can't even get through without laughing. God. This is why this is good acting. They get through this dialogue.
Without laughing.
They're not laughing at all. So it's like, I don't think someone like Richard Hart would be interested in the pencil. My God, I can't. The pencil scrawls of a bankrupt wannabe. Oh my God, it's so good. And then someone says to her, well, unlike you, I have a job to get to.
Oh my God.
My next note is the confidence of Michael Mancini is off the charts.
Yeah, I really loved Michael in these episodes that I watched. I appreciated him. He was just like, yes, he has so much confidence.
He's phaseless. At one point, someone goes, Michael, are you out on the Are you on the lam? He's like, nah, I got out on bail. It's like no big deal. Like, this is another day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it in court when he comes out in the orange outfit and handcuffs. And he sees Amanda, and he's like, oh, thank God, because Amanda will vouch for him. And Amanda has no intention of doing that. And then, oh, no. He sees Amanda gives him a dirty look or something, and he's like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like, intentionally funny dialogue.
Yes.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Shocked that Jane is just so hitting on a married man.
But... No.
Oh.
He didn't say he was married. He didn't tell her he was married. And I know that because she says, where's my quote here? Oh my God. Oh. She says, I have no intention of playing the other woman, especially when you're not married. That's what she says. I wrote it down because I was like, what an odd thing to say to somebody.
Oh.
What an odd
I do remember
thing to say.
It was
just not something you would ever say. I am not going to be the other woman, especially when you're not married. So she knew that they were together, but he never said that they were married. It's not until after
All right.
when they find out that he was married. Another interaction I found very appalling was Jack Wagner. What's his name?
Dr. Peter Burns. Peter Burns. Great name.
When Peter is talking to Kimberly, and it says, he says, it might interest you to know that you've guest starred in several of my sexual fantasies.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Not appropriate.
Not appropriate.
So my next note is, did Kimberly really think slamming on her brakes really hard would stop Mirror Man? She slams on her brakes, and then she goes, I'm free. I'm free. I'm like, no, you're a girl. No. Why would you think that? You should have
slammed into a tree or something.
Yeah, just smashed into a tree.
Oh, my God. Jack to Kimberly, such a charmer. I'll pick you up around 7. Bring your toothbrush.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. And I said, oh my God.
And your personality disorder medication.
Right.
I mean, he knows she had issues before because of clearly the Joe thing I forgot about that happened in season 2,
whole thing.
3.
Yep.
But so he knows she's not playing with a full deck of cards, and he is really And he's not even all that serious because he sees Amanda.
Right.
And he's like, oh, Amanda.
But he's playing her so that she'll testify.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. I think he looked at Amanda to remind us that he's, or to tell us that he's not serious about Kimberly. I wrote, Jane, the fashion designer with a hair clip. She says there's up to a meeting in a hair clip.
I wrote, Mackenzie is a lot. She does not seem she doesn't even seem human to me.
No.
What was her name? Brittany
Morgan?
Morgan. Very good.
Thank you.
The same note of
She doesn't know. She seemed she seemed almost like a robot in a way.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it was like a caricature. Because
like Dynasty
kind
of.
Yes, in the
right?
wrong show. Very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote a lot of dangerous codependency.
Mm-hmm.
Kimberly and Peter, Jess. So Kimberly being dependent on Peter, Jess being dependent on Joe for love.
Everybody
Mackenzie
was
on Richard. Mackenzie falls apart when Richard's interested in Jane, and Brooke and Billy. Brooke's happiness relies on Billy.
Yes.
It's really a weird. I would never have noticed that when I was in my 20s, but now it's so painful, and even I would say, Allison and Billy.
I was thinking that too.
She's willing to throw her career away for
Right?
Billy.
She's going to give up this awesome job in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
For Billy. Of all people.
Yeah.
Billy.
And Haley says, that's the episode. You have a backbone, Billy. I'm surprised. Me too.
Yeah, we all are. We all are. That was the only time he ever came to life when he was standing up to him. It was like, oh, you have a personality? What happened? What is that? I said, oh my God, I just wrote, hey, Kimberly, maybe stop looking in the mirror?
Oh, God. That's an excellent note.
Right?
Oh my God, that's so true. Just stop looking at it. Yeah.
Oh my God. And then,
Matt. Okay,
so I know, I just wrote, holy shit, Joe's beating is so terrifying.
It's really so bad. Oh my God. Matt going into the house and seeing the shot of Mrs. Graham's legs. And because I knew what was, we both knew what the storyline.
Right.
I gave Matt, I think, a little too much credit because remember, Paul has Matt hold the candlestick.
Yes.
He's like, see these candlesticks? They're from da-da-da-da-da. He's like, oh, wow. And he holds the candlestick. And so the way Doug Savant, the actor who plays Matt, plays that, I thought he was already piecing it all together. Because his face, he was taking it all in. I'm like, oh, so he does know that Paul set him up, but he doesn't until the police station. He doesn't know.
No
and that's
idea.
So horrifying and shitty. And I forgot that's how that. I thought he instantly knew Paul did that, and then he didn't until the police station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But that seems scary. I don't quite know why he ran. I think I would have called the police.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. I think he was just panicking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was.
Maybe he thought the killer was still in the house.
Maybe, yeah.
Because my thought was oh shit, he knows Paul did it, and he knows Paul's framing him, but I gave him way too much credit.
No, I don't think he knew any of that.
Yeah, because that's quite the stretch. Yeah.
Yes.
Joe getting beat up. Holy fuck, it's awful. Pop culture PTSD. I did write. Jess got off easy, being pushed off the building.
Yeah.
I would have wanted to see him tortured a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I think so too.
Who says this line, Christina? It's a doozy. That soulless, slutty, husband-stealing bitch.
Oh my God. Who says
Oh,
that?
Kimberly! About Sydney.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, the first bomb will go off in Sydney's. Whatever. And she's like, that soulless, slutty, husband-stealing bitch.
I said the Kimberly has turned into Wile E. Coyote, tying dynamite
everywhere. Oh, Christina, we have to talk about it. And when it happened, I'm like, oh, I remember this. When Allison starts drinking.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord. I forgot what a terrible drunk she was.
Listen, I love.
It wasn't totally my impersonation.
1000%.
Yes.
I wrote that down.
Yes.
1000%. And also, I want to be clear. I love Courtney Thorne-Smith. I really do.
Yeah.
I liked her in Lucas in summer school. I loved her in Ally McBeal. I really did. I liked her in Melrose Place. But her drinking scenes, I don't know why the director was like, do more. For our listening audience, I'm going to try and do it.
Okay.
And then maybe you should try and do it. Just to
Sure.
get, okay. So, Courtney Thorne-Smith goes into the kitchen, and on top of the fridge is vodka, but I think she actually bought that bottle, right? Because she had quit drinking.
She had quit drinking, yes.
So she unscrews the cap. This is Courtney Thorne-Smith with Allison Parker's drinking problem. Unscrews the cap. She's licking her lips. She's like pursing her mouth. This is everything for her.
And then she's drunk in like 10 seconds.
10 seconds. She's
like
wasted.
10 seconds.
Wasted
like,
on a
can't
sip.
even stand up. Her eyes are closed.
A sip of vodka.
A sip of
a
vodka.
sip.
So, yeah.
I wrote the lip lick, the heavy exhale, the instant drunkenness.
Yes, and I remember, it was so funny. I remembered how much I hated her drunk acting.
Oh, it's terrible. You used to impersonate it, and then you made it your own.
It was my own, yeah. I was better at it than she was. So I was like, oh,
Christina
God,
used to
she's gonna drink again.
Christina used to do this funny thing, that we would be somewhere in public, maybe at the video store renting video cassettes or DVDs, or just out somewhere, and she would walk ahead, grocery store, wouldn't matter, and I would just hear the drop of car keys on the ground. And I knew what it meant. And I would look up, and Christina would just be in full pretending public drunkenness. Like, Brent, yeah.
I haven't done that in a while, Brian.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
Yeah, you better watch out.
Any more notes? Because my last note is truly Kimberly's line that ends the episode.
What do I have? I did say, as far as like Brooke and Billy, I was so glad that they got married.
Yes.
Right? I think in another show, Allison would have broken it up.
And she does show up.
She shows up. She tries to break it up, and he's like, "No, Allison, I'm marrying Brooke."
And I will say this: Allison's not too bright, because what she should have said is, "Brooke lied to you. She's been setting me up for weeks. She wrote a letter. I didn't write that letter."
Does she know that at that point, though? How much does she know? I don't know if she knows about the letter.
She knows that
she set up
the job.
Yeah.
She set up the job, that there was no job that existed. She knew, well, obviously with Brooke getting married to Billy,
right?
Like, she knew that something was afoot.
Yes, and she never even knew that they were dating her.
No!
Like, she never knew any of that. So I was surprised that she wasn't more shocked at that.
Yeah.
Like, there would have been more of a reaction, like, wait, what?
What? Yeah.
You know Billy?
She's realizing it all.
And now you're marrying him?
Like,
in a matter of 2 days or
something? She also takes it out on Haley real fast. She's like, is there anything you wouldn't do for your daughter? She doesn't know him really well enough to assume that. Can I
ask you, did they date eventually in the series? They did, right?
Do you remember what happens?
Yeah, tell me again.
They date. And it's so weird to think about, because when you think about that scene, it seems like a real big deal breaker. Allison's crazy.
Yes.
But Haley and Allison date. And then they're on some trip, and Haley drowns.
Okay.
And then it sets Brooke off into like this crazy villain. And then everyone turns their back on Brooke. And not a great moment of acting for Kristen Davis, I'm sorry to say, but Brooke is like, I've lost everything. No one wants to talk to me. And then she slips, cracks her head open in the swimming pool, and drowns.
That's right.
But then she comes back as a ghost for like 3. Remember that? For like 3 episodes. Bad.
I think I was tuning out in those episodes, but it was funny because when I was watching Allison with Brooke's father, like, I remembered them being together, and I'm like, is this when they hook up? Like, is this when they start dating?
They have chemistry too.
They do. They had a lot of chemistry.
Perry
He
King
just has a lot of chemistry with everybody.
Yeah, he's like the Andy McDowell of nighttime soaps.
Yes. Yeah. What else did I have here? Oh, the cop, and it was really funny. I had to actually look this up. But one of the cops, when they were arresting in the police station with Matt, I had to look it up. I thought it was Steve Buscemi. I swear to God, one of them like, is that Steve Buscemi? Like he looks so much like him. I had to look him up, but it was not him. What else do I have? Anything else?
So
that's about it. Oh, the only other thing is Michael comes and what happens? How did he knocks her out? Wait, how did that all happen? He wake up and get her again? Like whatever. Somehow.
Well, I thought it was amazing that Kimberly literally drags Sydney down a flight of stairs and just cuts all over her face, as Sydney does.
Oh yeah.
And then she ties Sydney up. She screams for Michael. Michael comes down and like pushes Kimberly, right, hits her head or something. Then Brooke and Billy forgot the tickets. They have to go back. They get that.
Right. Okay, so the Sydney Michael thing, right?
Oh yeah.
They run out. I'm like, Sydney, grab the button. Like they didn't even think to grab the button. They knock it out of her hand and she falls and gets. And then they untie Sydney and they never grab the button. Now, obviously they had to do that because otherwise how would that all end? But I was like, I yelled at the TV. I'm like, grab the button.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. That's so bad. I guess I didn't catch that the thing went flying.
It went flying across. It like slid across the floor.
Because I mean, honestly, it just could have been like another fight on the stairs and Kimberly beating up Sydney and taking the detonator anyway.
Right.
So, but I think they had to get Michael and Sydney out of that basement, or else Sydney would have died.
Yes.
So, but then so then Kimberly says, "It's not what it looks like," and she clicks two of the buttons, and then she goes, "It's worse." Beep, 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 and it ends. And I remember because they had filmed it all, but because of the bombing of God help me out, Christina. There was a real life bombing. I think, damn it. Well, everyone knows it was. It just made headlines, and they decided it would just be too much. Another huge bombing incident. So, but yeah, that's how it ended. So 7 seasons, 226 episodes. I do have some trivia.
Okay.
There were only 2 apartment setups at Melrose Place.
Interesting.
And they just kept constantly rearranging the furniture and bringing in new furniture. Like, how cool is that?
That is very cool.
When Heather Locklear was honored by Entertainment Weekly for being like the biggest, I think the television's biggest villains, they did a commemorative thing. And I think it was, I think Heather Locklear was number 2. I think Joan Collins, Alexis Carrington was number 1. And then I think Sammy Joe was also on the list. So Heather Locklear was, so it's funny. So Heather Locklear, they said, what do you think? And she said, honestly, she's like, I never tried to play it as a bitch. I just tried playing her as someone who was strong and doing what she's supposed to do.
Yeah, and that's why she was so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, because I think, and it's funny too, because like being older now, when you watch something like Amanda talking to Billy, she's like, well, I hope you're not thinking of driving someone to the airport when we have a meeting in an hour.
Right.
That's valid.
Absolutely.
And then Billy goes, be a little reasonable. She just lost her job. He's like, no, she was fired because she was sloppy. And then she's like, Brooke, you do it. I'd love to. But Amanda is like very rational. Yes. She is a single gal making a name for herself. She has a lot of power and she doesn't want to lose it. And so
she just doesn't deal with any of the bullshit.
I will say, so this Thomas Calabro, right? Did I say his name? Calabro? So. Andrew Shue and Heather Locklear are the only cast members that were on for a portion of every single season.
Oh.
And then finally, I didn't think this got any nominations for anything. Golden Globes, Heather Locklear was nominated for Best Dramatic Actress for 4 years.
Wow. I never would have guessed that.
And then your friend, Laura Leighton.
Oh, Laura Leighton.
Sydney got a 1995 supporting actress nomination.
I loved her. I thought I felt like she livened everything up as soon as she showed up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And in 1993, Melrose Place won a People's Choice Award for Favorite New Drama. I did think it was funny when Sydney's like, you're all freaks. You're all freaks. And then Jane's like, we're freaks. We're freaks. You're a freak. I'm a freak. We're freaks.
Oh, that was funny.
Was
was funny.
There's some ad-libbing there. Christina, what else you got? Anything?
I got nothing else.
I have a Melrose Place match
Well, wait.
game.
Did you like it better, worse, the same?
Oh,
Like,
Jesus.
What do you think?
So remembering that I was obsessed,
Yes.
I really loved it too. I think so. I'm going to say the same, which is really high praise because I loved it.
Yeah, that is good.
How about you?
I think. Well, I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
So, I guess I would say the same.
Yeah.
I think I would say the same for different reasons.
Okay.
But I liked it about the same. But I will say, I continued watching it a little bit more after the season 4. So, like we said before, on patreon.com/oldroommates, you go there and we'll have a bonus episode of the first episode of season 4. Which, spoiler alert, was really good. So, there you go. If you want to hear the rest of it, you can tune in. But after that ended, I was like, so what else happens? Like, I feel like, I wanted to know more. So I started watching a little bit more after, which I never do. The only other show I did that with was The Love Boat.
Wow, that's high praise.
Yeah.
Another Aaron Spelling. But I will say, my thought was different. I was going to go back and watch all of season 3.
Yes, yeah. I was thinking about doing that too, because some of the stuff, like even like the Jack Wagner character, I'm like, wait, what was the story?
To him? Yeah.
Like, what happened there? And so yeah, there was some questions about what happened when, and
I think there was so much more of Kimberly that was so devious, and I'm sure the dialogue is just amazing because this is sort of at the end of Kimberly's deviousness to a degree,
right?
For season 4,
right? That's true. That's true. Season 3 was really when she went.
Really she comes back
because she was a good. She
started off as good. She was caught up with a married man.
Yeah.
And then she realized how absolutely toxic he was, and then they were in a car accident, right? And then and then the mother said, "Oh, she died. But she just kept Kimberly away from Michael."
Right.
And then Kimberly, but that was crazy because I remember that scene of Kimberly. Michael and Sydney are actually happy. There's this one moment where they're like, you know what? Michael and Sydney are actually happy. And then the camera pans out of the beach house, and they're watching them from the beach is the back of Kimberly. And then she says something like, "I'm home, Michael. I'm home." And it ends.
And I loved Michael and Sydney together.
Yeah.
I thought they had awesome chemistry. I love the characters together. I thought they were just so fun, and I really
Oh my God. One
together.
thing I did not say, Josie Bissett, dropped it gorgeous.
Oh my God, there's a scene.
I forgot about that. It's like she's almost too beautiful for this shit. It's like she's
gorgeous.
Not a model on the show.
And I will tell you that it was a scene with her and Joe at the bar, and I was like, they're both so stunning.
Yes.
But yes, I agree. Like Josie, she's flawless.
Yeah. And she's still, and it was really funny. I was saying to Carl, I was like, I ended up looking up Josie Bissett on Instagram because what does she look like now? And I'm like, she's got to be, this is how stupid I am, but I'm like, she's got to be in her 60s now, maybe early 60s. But no, we were the same age as these people.
Age,
she's 50, she's 51 years old. She looks still
I'm sure she's
dead gorgeous.
She's
oh
like
my
Smith.
God. She's only 51, and she is a children's book writer now.
Oh, good for her.
But I thought when she stepped on screen, I was like, I really forgot how stunning Josie Bissett is, and I agree. Daphne Zuniga as well. Just this really natural.
Just a
they're not
beautiful natural.
They don't have crazy makeup on. They're not all dolled up in high fashion. They're just really pretty. Sydney as well.
So, one other thing I want to note, and this is probably from a previous season when Joe showed up. Joe was she
season 2?
She was season 2. That's
pretty
right.
Sure.
So she showed up. She's like the bad girl, right? Do you think it's funny that character is so similar to
Joe Polnicek?
Joe Polnicek, yeah, exactly.
Named Joe.
Joe. I'm like, this is really funny. So when I started writing notes and stuff, I'm like, Joe, and I'm like, wait, is that Joe? I was thinking I was wrong. I was thinking I put Joe because I was thinking of Joe from Facts of Life.
Yeah.
But I was like, it just made me laugh.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
I do have a match game.
I do too. You can
go first. I'll go first.
Yeah.
Christina.
If it's the same thing, we're going to be in trouble.
Well, I want to keep it sort of October-y.
Oh, good.
So on Halloween night, one little kid said to the other, Ugh. Trick-or-treating at Melrose Place really stinks. The guys only give condoms, and the women only give blank. The kid was trick-or-treating at Melrose Place. The guys...
It's not great, but
See, they would say trick-or-treat, and the guys would give out condoms. And the women only give out... Ding! All right, Christina. Trick-or-treating at Melrose Place really stinks. The guys only give out condoms. The women only give...
Lipstick?
Oh, I put attitude.
Oh! That's cute. Very cute. Very cute.
Oh my God.
Not a match. That's okay. I have one. This might be good.
Okay.
All right. So Billy is so dull.
How dull? Is there how dull is he?
When he was in high school, the senior superlatives
Sure.
voted him most likely to blank. So dull.
We got it.
Ding. All right. Billy was so dull, he was voted most likely to...
Come on, big money. Most likely to put you to sleep.
Ah! Put you to sleep!
Yay!
Wow, we haven't matched in a while, I don't think. That's awesome.
And that was Melrose Place. Check it out. I forget. You can stream it somewhere. I forget how. I'm sorry. But otherwise, go to your local library. It's on DVD.
Sounds good.
Thanks, everybody.
And that's it for this episode of Old Roommates. Thank you for listening. For bonus content, please visit us at patreon.com/oldroommates.
And follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, @oldroommates. Thanks for listening. Until next time.